talents and abilities light years beyond what he'd come into the world with. When he was little, still just a pup, he could never have dreamt that one day he'd be able to read and understand multiple languages, analyze data, be the eyes and ears for a multi-billion-dollar secret organization. When he was a pup, he hadn't dreamt about much more than chasing squirrels. The Whitecoats knew that while the prisoner had exceptional abilities, he was deeply flawed. Despite their best efforts, this subject was a failure. His natural instincts could not be suppressed by technology. No amount of software could overrule his canine characteristics. He was, first of all, too distractible. He could not be trusted to stay focused on the task at hand. The Whitecoats could send him, for example, to sniff out the location of a terrorist bomb, the lives of thousands hanging in the balance, but if he caught sight of someone tossing around a ball, he'd interrupt his mission to go and chase it. The prisoner knew this was why the Whitecoats were going to do something very bad to him. "Look what I brought you," Simmons said, taking his left hand out of his pocket. He held something small and dark in his fingers, not much larger than a marble. A treat. A beefy, salty, delicious treat. The prisoner felt his tongue slip from his mouth, running along the sides of his jaw and over his snout. It happened before he'd even realized it. They knew him so well, knew how much he liked these treats. It was one of the prisoner's many weaknesses. They knew just how to turn him against himself. The prisoner nearly stopped himself from looking eager for the treat, then realized that wagging his tail, which would have been his normal response, was the way to go. Let the Whitecoat think he was happy. Holding it between his thumb and forefinger, Simmons worked the treat through the chain-link grill that separated him from the prisoner. "Come on," Simmons said. "Bet you'll love this. You know how much you like to gobble these down? Yum, yum. They're so delicious. I could almost eat one myself. They're your favorite." The prisoner raised his head slightly to within a few inches of the roof of his cage and sniffed. The man wasn't lying. This treat was definitely among his favorites. His nostrils flared ever so slightly as he took in the smell, almost tasting it. He kept his tail wagging, but stayed pressed up against the back wall of the cage. "What is it, sport?" Simmons asked. "You not hungry? I was hoping you might be. I've got lots more of these in my pocket." The prisoner couldn't help but notice that Simmons's right hand was still in his other pocket. His nostrils flared again, taking in more of the essence of the tasty morsel. There was something wrong with it. He was sure of that now. There was something wrong with the treat. It did not smell right. He did not dare eat it, but if he didn't take it, the Whitecoat man would suspect the prisoner was onto him. So he padded to the front of the cage, stretched his furry neck forward, and took the treat gingerly between his teeth. "There you go," Simmons said. "Delicious." It took every bit of strength the prisoner had not to give the treat a couple of quick chews and gulp it down. But he couldn't just let it sit there in his mouth. He had to pretend. So he made his jaw go up and down twice, then closed his mouth, keeping the treat tucked beneath his long, wet, pink tongue. It would not take long for the treat to dissolve on its own. If he kept it in his mouth long enough for that to happen, he might as well swallow it. Couldn't do that. "Starting to feel a bit sleepy there, Chip?" Simmons asked. "I suspect you will very soon." He smiled sympathetically. "I have to tell you, this hurts me more than it hurts you, in a lot of ways. We've grown attached, you and I. We really have. We've been through a lot together. I can't help but think about what might have been had things worked out." The prisoner thought, "I'm supposed to get sleepy." He would play into that. With this tranquilized treat in his mouth, it made sense to fake some symptoms soon. He stood there, cocking his head slightly to one side, as though he really cared what this man had to say. "It's too bad about you, Chipper. You're a mighty fine dog. You're the kind of mutt anyone would be happy to have around the house, but that just doesn't cut it here. And it's not like I can just hand you over to some family, let them raise you like a normal dog. Not with everything we've put inside you." The prisoner named Chipper blinked, let his eyes close for half a second, allowed his head to droop.